What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to another PE News mini video that I have here for you guys. So today we're going to be talking about Virtuos and them porting over some type of, oh god, AAA title to the Nintendo Switch. And guys, when I use that term, it's very loosely based on this. Now, just to let you guys know about this studio, Virtuos, they have worked on all sorts of ports and remasters, Nintendo everything rights, but it's very important to note that this was originally found out by Dr. Trey 81, who does YouTube videos on here. Make sure you check out his channel when you get a chance. He does a little bit of digging and stuff every now and then, and especially on LinkedIn. So that's where this article really originated from. I remember back when he made this video, I retweeted it out. I said this is very interesting, but now we've had some more of the bigger sites as far as Nintendo point this out, and people really started to take notice. So let's take a look at this article here, and let's take a look into what Virtuos does. So their previous titles include Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age, which just launched. They have Final Fantasy X/10-2, the HD remaster. They also had Batman Return to Arkham, which is a collection of the Arkham games. I think 2 of them or something like that. I don't think it has Arkham Origins on there, but I know it has the other 2. And Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection, plus many more titles. That's just not it. They've done a lot of porting. So the studio seems to be like it's turning its attention to the Nintendo Switch. And once again, as spotted by Dr. Trey 81, make sure you check out his channel, subscribe. The senior programmer, can't say his name, his last name is Zhang though, Zhang I think, states that on LinkedIn he's involved with the porting process of a AAA title to the Nintendo Switch. So here is a little bit of an excerpt of his LinkedIn profile where he talks about what game he's working on. WIP, porting a AAA title to the Nintendo Switch. Re-implement the renderer with Nintendo's native graphics, APNVN. Design and implement the low-level mechanism of graphics resource management and threading. Exploit performance advantages of the Vulkan-like API, UMA. Explicit management of graphics memory. Complete control over CPU/GPU synchronization, etc. Zhang has been working at Virtual Studios since last March, but it is unclear how long the Switch project has been in development. Now, Dr. Trey on his video said that, hey, he thinks that it's going to be Batman Return to Arkham. Other people are speculating now that it's going to be Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. I think it's probably going to be Batman, considering, you know, Dr. Trey has been doing the digging, that's what he thinks. I'm more in tune to, you know, go with what he's thinking. Plus, Warner Bros. Has also said that they're going to be supporting the Nintendo Switch. But then again, so has Square Enix. So Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age, maybe they're porting multiple titles to Nintendo Switch. Maybe it's not just Arkham, maybe it's also Final Fantasy. Now, some people have speculated that it's going to be the Ezio collection because Ubisoft says that they still have more games to announce for the Switch. But I don't really think that it's going to be the Ezio collection. I'm not sure if it's going to be the Ezio collection because Assassin's Creed just necessarily didn't do very well for them, you know, last generation with the Wii U. I know it's a different system, but I just think they probably want to wait on that one, and it would just be kind of the collection of those old games. And I know that there was like a 3DS Assassin's Creed that was canceled, so I'm not sure if Ubisoft thinks Assassin's Creed is the best fit for the Switch right at this point. Maybe down the line when you got 20-30 million and then you could make a 500,000, 600,000 or more sales with an Assassin's Creed game, maybe that's when they go about it, putting that on there. I just don't think it's going to be that. But hey, remember, this is just my opinions. I could be completely wrong on this one. Now, what I want, what my heart is telling me is like, hey, Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. I talked about this before on Twitter. I've talked about it to various other people. I haven't talked about it necessarily on video, but Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age would be a perfect fit for the Nintendo Switch. Not only that, I think it would actually revitalize the sales. As far as Japan goes, I think it definitely underperformed. The game was a very good game, obviously, very good remaster. Great content in there, and I think it's sitting around 120 something thousand units sold in Japan on the 5 million unit install base of the PlayStation 4. I thought it would do a little bit better than that. If they wanted to put it on the Nintendo Switch, especially in Japan, you could see very good sales very quickly because of the nature of the system. Big RPG, have the Nintendo Switch, play it anywhere you want. You saw the sales of Dragon Quest, you've seen the sales of various other handheld portable games. Nintendo's doing very well. Even franchises that don't necessarily do great in Japan, like for example, The Legend of Zelda, that's doing fantastic on the Nintendo Switch with well over 500,000 units sold. So the fact that the portable nature of it is actually bumping up franchises that would have never sold better beforehand, when you're talking about a Japanese RPG, I think it's a great fit. But like I said, I don't know if it's going to be Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. I hope it is. That would be the great fit for it. Obviously, Square Enix is a big partner with Nintendo. They have various games coming out for the system. You have Lost Sphere, you have Dragon Quest coming up, you have Project Octopath, so there's already a nice slew of RPGs. Heck, we still need to get the Seiken Densetsu collection localized. So I would hope that it's this, but I just don't know if it's going to be Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age this quickly. So we'll see. Plus, we don't know if there's going to be like some type of, or if there was actually some type of bargain or deal or whatever that Sony made with Square Enix. I mean, that happened with Persona. It's happened with lots of other games as well as far as Japanese developers go. So we still need to wait on that. But overall, I would like it to be that. But a lot of people are pointing to Batman Arkham, the collection, or the Batman Return to Arkham as far as the games. If that did come, I mean, the more games, the better. I have no issue with it, unlike some people. No fake outrage from me. The more games that come to Nintendo Switch, overall, the better. I would just like to make sure that you space them, you put them in the correct places in order for them to do well. The last thing that you want is a bunch of games flooding the market all in one month or all in one time period. Some of those games don't sell, and if they're big AAA games, then the developers get mad. That's kind of what we saw with the Wii U. You know, you flood the market with a bunch of these big games, and people have very limited resources as far as money goes. Some people can only afford, you know, 1 or 2 games every single few months. So it just leaves a lot of games odd man out, basically. That's what happens when you flood the market with a ton of games. And we see that on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One all the time. The market gets flooded with a bunch of games. So games just don't sell well for whatever reason, you know, even though they might be really good, like Prey or something like that. So overall, it's just good that more developers are coming to Nintendo Switch, and it's really just the difference of the platform, right? When you have positive sales, when you have Nintendo putting out so many big titles and people are rushing to go buy the Switch, that's obviously going to weigh heavily on third-party developers. That's going to get them to be excited to make games for the system. The hybrid nature of the system makes it unique and different from what the other companies are doing, so therefore you can address that market, because there is a market of people who love portable games. So it's one of those things to where we're going to continue to see this. Virtuos is not going to be the only studio that we hear about as far as putting out some AAA or some bigger titles to Nintendo Switch. It's going to start rolling. I mean, this happens pretty much with every single generation when it comes to a new platform, especially when it does well. It takes a little bit of time before you start seeing some of the bigger titles, but I think Nintendo did a fantastic job in planning, because really they're driving that install base up. We've been getting some good titles in between for fillers, stuff like Minecraft or Disgaea, and then Nintendo closes it with their big titles like ARMS and Splatoon, Mario. All of those games do really well. Legend of Zelda, and continue to sell the system, then more people can pick up the other stuff. So that's why there's been sales success of Street Fighter and other titles that have sold well over 200, 300,000 copies in a very quick amount of time. So this is going to continue. I think Nintendo's doing a good job when it comes to that. Obviously, there's some stuff that they need to brush up when it comes to their actual system. In terms of the games that you guys know that Virtuos is working on, as far as the ports, what would you guys like to see on the system? Do you want to see Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age? Do you feel that that RPG would be a great fit for the system, more so than a Batman Return to Arkham? What's your thoughts on that? Now, I do want to say this, guys. You need to make sure that we keep our expectations somewhat in check. Some people are saying, oh, well, it's going to be Final Fantasy XII. It has to be that. Some people are already, you know, kind of blowing things out of proportion, and you might lead yourself to some disappointment if it doesn't turn out to be Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. Like I said, myself, I would love for it to be that, but it could easily be something different. So the one thing people are doing that I've seen online is that they're really saying, oh, well, it's going to be Final Fantasy XII. They're putting that out there. Obviously, a lot of people want that, right? Because it makes the most sense for like the Nintendo Switch. It just makes the most sense. People would want that. The Arkham games, obviously Nintendo fans didn't buy those games on the Wii U, so I'm not sure if that's what people would want first. I think a lot more people would like Final Fantasy. I understand that, but you have to just be careful, because, you know, it might be Batman. It just might be Batman, because that would probably be cheaper to do overall than Final Fantasy. That's what I would think. Those games have already been remastered before. and those games have already been out for a while, right? So I'm thinking it's going to be that, but you never know. Maybe it's going to be both. Maybe Square Enix wants to do that down the line when it comes to Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. Maybe they want the system to do a little bit better beforehand as far as install base goes, to increase their own sales, because no matter what anyone says, the more install base that you have, the better chance of sales that you have. That is basic video game industry 101. You want to have a big install base because you have more potential buyers. I mean, it's not even just video game industry. That's anything to where you have a platform to where people can buy that platform off of, whether it's Google Play or iOS. The more people that have that Android, the more people that have that device, that Apple device, the more sales that you can get. So if you don't have that big platform, that big device as far as units go, like for example like Ouya or something like that, you're not going to have as many sales because there's not as many people who have the platform. So that's just basic business 101. It's just about being patient, in addition to understanding how everything works when it comes to Nintendo's big releases and how third parties have a plan for the system. Crossing my fingers for Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. It really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs, in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon page. Pledge any tier, be entered to win some awesome prizes each month. In addition to that, we have Discord voice chat and $10 prize eShop tournaments from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, and more. Support PE Live and PE Arena right here on PlayerEssence. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you ninja for the next video. Peace.